everyone. I know in my last video I talked about values and using the obituary exercise to determine what your values are, what is important to you, and then to start thinking about how you can use your values to kind of guide what you do and how you live your life so that you have a bit more purpose and meaning and you understand why you may be putting yourself through certain things. So I want to share with you a resource that is my absolute favorite, and I love using these cards with my clients as well. They're from The Happiness Trap. I'm not sure if any of you have read this book by Russ Harris, but there is a book and it's all based on acceptance and commitment therapy, which is a type of therapy whereby there's less thought challenging and there's a lot more acceptance, living life according to your values, creating goals around your values, letting go of really distressing thoughts, and by moving away from what we don't want and moving towards what is meaningful, then we see an improvement in anxiety and depression symptoms and a whole plethora of other things. So if you look at acceptance and commitment therapy instead of the traditional cognitive behavior therapy, there's a bunch of research out there. And so The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris is one of my favorite books to read on ACT. And he has these cards which are all about values, and I use these with my clients all the time. So what they are, I'll show you a little bit about them. So there are some basic instructions that come in the deck, but you can be quite flexible with them. So it talks to you about picking a life domain, so what you want to work on, so whether you want to work on relationships or health, whatever it is. So you pick a domain. And there's a bunch of prompts that you look at. But first what you do is you kind of get the deck, and there's a whole bunch of values here. So, authenticity and industry and sexuality. There's a whole bunch of stuff to really encompass all different aspects of your life. Look, and they're quite pretty as well. So what you do, you take these cards and you put them into different piles as to what's really like super important, kind of important, and not at all, or not as important. And they're all amazing, all of these values, but it's about what's most important to you specifically at this point in time for that domain that you pick. And then once you kind of pick your top 5, and if you're having trouble with that, then I want you to scale them. So every, card that you pick up, I want you to think about how important is this to me on a scale of 1 to 10, and maybe if it's above an 8, you want to put that in the super important pile, and you just whittle it down until you get your top 3 or top 5. And then what you want to do, there's some other cool cards here to work through, so it's a bit of a long exercise, but what can you do in the next 24 hours or week or however long to live life according to that value? You can also look at how your values may be in conflict with one another and how you can work through that. We look at when we twist our values, and we what else does it have? Obstacles. This is a really good one. So what is getting in the way of you living life according to your values? So you might have a value around adventure, but if you also have a value of security, then you may be putting all your money into paying off your house and living expenses and then not investing in a holiday. So it's about, well, how do we navigate that? There is some action planning prompts for you. And these are my 2 favorite ones. So with this one, what can other people do to encourage your values? What can you do to encourage your values? So it's really fun to share this with other people so they can support you. And living your values. This is a really good one. So I'm going to get this one nice and close. How are you going to treat yourself and others, your body, those around you, so that you are living in life according to your values? And what we know is that people are less happy and satisfied in life if they're not living life according to their values, and happier in general if they are living life according to their values. There's no right or wrong answer. Everybody has different values. Everybody has different life domains that they want to focus on. But it's just a really, really fun activity. So if you're interested, and this is fun to do, I don't just do this in therapy. I do this with myself. I do it with my husband as well, like what's important in our marriage. Um, and also with friends. If you ever have a friend who's feeling a little bit lost, they're just not sure what they want to do, they're feeling a bit blah by life, then this is a really fun activity. I will pop in the link where you can find these cards. We bought them from an online store. I think it's, oh, this is where you get them from. So Russ Harris is still on Act Mindfully, and he's got a bunch of other resources as well. And he does workshops if you ever want to go see him. And no, he does not support my page or give me any endorsements. I just think he's a really, really great practitioner, and I love his resources. Okay, well, that's it from me. If you don't want to buy the cards, you can also just jump on Google and find like list of values, and that can be really helpful too. Just make sure you whittle it down to your top 5, otherwise you're going to be, trying to sift through 20 or 30 values, and that's going to be really, really hard to remember. Let me know how you go, guys. All the best. Bye.